Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a very rough tutorial guide to really show you how to use the blocks editor. So this is the Gutenberg blocks editor that comes standard with every WordPress installation. This is a very rough guide and it's just really going to help you to understand the blocks editor and how to create the pages that you want to create. So I'm working on a client's website. This is a test website. She has installed a starter template. It's a Kadence starter template. You can check out Kadence, have some really awesome starter templates, and I also sell some on my website. She is using this starter template, which is the handmade soap and skincare product template. It's really simple and nice and clean. However, my client's struggling to kind of put her content in there and to make it look amazing. So let's get into this, and I'll just show you like the key areas that you really need to be familiar with and get to grips with in order to quickly and easily make those pages look exactly how you want it to make. So I think the best thing is for me to kind of go onto a homepage and show you what it's looking like now. So obviously this is based off this template. So full width image, kind of skipped out this. We've moved it down a bit and we've moved this up to showcase her services. But let's go into editing this page and moving things around. Okay. So when you are in the back end of a page, there are three key areas that you need to really get familiar with, okay? And I'm going to go through those in a moment. But the other key thing you need to remember is when you're building a website, basically, or any page on your website, imagine your website is made up of rows. So as we know, a row goes like this from left to right. And then within rows are columns, okay? So if we look at, say, for example, this section, we can see this is one row, and in the row we have two columns. So there's one column there with text and a button, and in this column there is absolutely nothing. And in this row, we have a background image, okay? So then scrolling down here, we've got a row, and within that row, we've got three columns, and in each column, we've got an image and some text. And then scrolling down, we have a row, and in that row, we have, two images, so it's three columns, and those two images, and then some text in that third column, okay? So three key areas you need to get familiar with. Number one, it's the hierarchy or list view of how your page is laid out. Now you can find that in two places. The first is down here. So you kind of see this hierarchy. So you can see there's a row. So I click on that and then that highlights the row. Now I click on the image, then that breaks it down and it says within that row, there is a section, so your column, and within that section is an advanced image, okay? So if I am now like, oh, I do need to actually edit the background of this because I don't like the marble color, etc., I can just come here and I can click on this row layout, and then that will bring up the section on the right, which is something I'm going to dive into. That's one of the other points that you do need to know. Okay, so like I said, there's two ways to see this hierarchy. There's down here at the bottom, and then there is also here at the top where it says list view, and this is something new that has been brought into the blocks editor. I think it was brought in with WordPress 5, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do actually really love this list view, and it's something that as a developer I use all the time. So again, get familiar with it. So you click on that list view, and much like it is at the bottom, you can see there's a row, and then you can see there's three sections. So in other words, a section is a column. And then here you've got an advanced image, an advanced image, an advanced text, okay? And if you specifically wanted to play around with this image, you can by clicking on that. Okay. So that's number one key area. So it's your list view, kind of your hierarchy. Okay. So the next that you need to get familiar with is the block editing section, which is on the right-hand side here. So you have two tabs here on the right. You've got the page and then you've got the block. Okay. So the block is the real editing section, and that's where you are going to be editing the look and feel of a specific block. So what is a block? A block can be something like text, an image. It can be testimonials. It can also be lists, etc. So we'll go into, more on the blocks and where you find those in a moment. But let's just look at this first. So really getting familiar with this right-hand side, so this block. So what we're using here is an advanced image. And with this specific advanced image block, you can change things up a bit. So you can use a fixed ratio instead of the image ratio. So if I uncheck that, it kind of changes to a different ratio. If I check it, I can then come in here and I can, change it to a portrait, and then it changes what the image will look like on the front end. Okay, so let's go back. I'm not too sure what it was before. I think it was 3.2. And then you can change the alternative text. And then you've got some other tabs here. So other drop down accordions. And in there, that's where you can change the spacing settings. So that's the padding, that's the spacing within the image, the margin that's without the image, outside the image. Then you've got your border settings. So if you would like a border around your image, you can do so by clicking on that, choosing your color, and setting your border width. So you can see it comes there. And if I click on that, I can do that, and I can add a border around my image. Then we've got border radius. So if I click this button, this means that every single one, so top, left, right, and bottom will all change. So as you can see, that all changes. If I do that, I can then make that 0, and it kind of looks like that. Okay. So you can also set your link settings to where that image should go, shadow settings, mask settings, caption settings, image filter. So if we wanted it to be in sepia, we can quickly and easily do that. Okay. So first it's the hierarchy and the list view, or the list view. The next is the block. And so that's your block settings here on the right. And the third is actually adding blocks. Okay. So basically within your rows and your columns, you will have blocks. Okay. So you can find that up at the top here, the toggle block inserter. Or alternatively, if for example, you're here, you can press enter, and then it will say choose a block, and you can click on this plus icon here to add a block. Scrolling down right at the bottom, you can also see another one here. You can click on that. That will then open up kind of a little pop-up with the last blocks that you have used. Alternatively, you can always just click browse all, and that's going to open up here. So as we've installed the Kadence Blocks plugin, this is an additional plugin that does not come standard with WordPress. So it gives you additional functions, additional blocks that you can use. And the nice thing with the Kadence blocks is they have advanced text and advanced image. There we go, those two. Those two are probably my most favorite, and the row one. The reason why they are my most favorite is because you can change spacing, and you can change quite a lot in terms of how it looks on a mobile device. Okay, so you've got your Kadence blocks there, then you've got your text blocks, and these are all standard with every WordPress installation. Then you've got your media and your design and widgets, etc. If you do install other plugins, of course, those will come up there. There are lots of other plugins out there that can give you additional blocks if you need additional features on your website. So let's say, for example, we would like a row, and we would like an image on the left-hand side. We would like some text on the right, and yeah, that's good for now, and maybe a divider or something like that. So let's click here on this button. We're going to click plus. And then what we're going to look for is a row, okay? And I generally put everything in a row. The reason for that is you can change the padding and the margins and how it looks on a mobile device. So let's put it in a row. And this is when we can choose our columns. So let's say, for example, we would like it to look like that, okay? And in this column, we would like an image. So we'll click on Add Block. Then what we're going to do is we're going to type in here, advanced image, okay? And then we are going to either insert from a URL or select an image. So we will either choose one from our media library or we will upload one from our desktop. And I really love this specific image and we will pop that image in there, okay? Then on this side, we're going to add in a heading, and we're going to add in advanced text, and we're going to say, hey, I am Jane. Okay, cool. So I quite like that. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, we can see that the block editor opens on the right-hand side. Okay, we can see this is a H2 tag. It is styled as per you have styled it in the customizer in Kadence. Okay. But you can go ahead and you can change things. So it's quite nice to change this up and maybe make this the pink color. I wouldn't mind making that quite a lot bigger. So let's maybe make it, about 70 pixels there. Change the line height a bit just so it's up there. If we want to, we can change the letter spacing. And if we want, we can change the highlight, the link settings, etc. But we don't want to. Okay. So I'm going to press enter because I want to add another block. Okay. But I want to add an advanced text block. And in that, I would like to add some random dummy content. So I'm just going to go to this website here, copy this content, and I'm going to paste that in there. Okay. So you can see once I paste that in, it's an H2 tag, which doesn't look so great. So I'm just going to highlight it and I'm going to make it the paragraph font. Okay. So we can see it's quite close together. So if I click on this heading, I'm just going to give it some line height. There we go. Okay. So there it is. And the next thing I want to do is add in a block. So we'll click on this, a button. So when I type in button, you can see it's buttons and there's advanced button. I always like to use the Kadence blocks just because they give you more options in terms of styling your block. So if I click, let me show you actually, if I click on buttons, right? Okay, so there's my button. I'm going to add in the text here. So just random click here. Okay, so there's my button. Okay, styles, I can either have it filled or I can have it outlined like that. I quite like the filled, and default style is, we don't need to set that. So here we can change the color. So we can change the text color. We can change the background color. We can also change the border of it. Okay, so this is the border radius. Okay, so 0 will make it kind of square. Kind of doing it more makes it rounder. Then I can also change the typography size. If I want to, I can manually change those. Okay, and then you've got your dimensions here. And this is your padding. So if we want to, we can change the padding within our button. Okay. So that there is, just going to delete that. That there is the normal WordPress block. Okay. So now I'm here and I'm like, okay, I want to add that's how you add another button. Don't want to add another button. I just would like to add in, enter. So I could click this plus block here. I'm going to type in button and I'm going to do that advanced button. Okay. So this is a Kadence block specific with the Kadence plugin. I'm going to click here. Okay. So let's look at the settings that we get with the Kadence button. So you get the button alignment. So if I want this button to be left on a desktop, I can have it as left. And if I want on my phone, so you see these little icons here, I can click on those and I can center align that on my phone, or I can right align that, okay? Okay, so then you can go to your button settings and you can have the style as per the theme. So if you have styled the buttons in the Kadence customizer, that will pull through automatically. Honestly, I love this because you style your buttons once and then you just click theme and then it's already styled, and every single button on your website looks exactly the same, and that keeps consistency throughout your website and for your brand as well. If you don't want that, you can just click default, or you can click theme, and then you can play around with font sizing. You can change the button sizing. You can change the button width as well. So if you wanted that to be the full width, you could do so. It's very big. There we go. You can change the text color. You can also change the hover color of your button. Background colors. Let's change it to that. Hover color is pink. Okay, you can change the border width, you can change the border radius. So there we go. If you want to, you can add in an icon. So let's add in a little icon. You can change icon sizing, icon color, icon padding, all of those customizing settings, and you can change the icon location as well. You can change font family. So if you wanted that specific font to have the specific button to have a different font, you can do so. And you can make it uppercase, okay? And then you've got your container margins, which is the spacing around your button. So as you can see, this specific button, the advanced button, has so many more options in terms of styling it, okay? And the best is that there are options for mobile as well, which doesn't come standard with the normal WordPress button. So as you can see, one other thing I just want to show you is I put this button above these pink ones, right? But I don't want it there. I actually want it underneath, okay? So you'll see this thing here. So that means it's selecting that one. Remember, going back to our list view or going back to our hierarchy at the bottom, you can see I am in that advanced button. So let's go back to the list view. Okay, and I'm just scrolling down to the bottom. So whatever's highlighted is this thing that I'm busy working on. If I click that, that's going to change, etc. So if I want to move this down below these, there are two ways of doing that. I can either do that in the list view, or I can do it by clicking one simple button. So all I can do is just click this button here that says move down, and it moves it below there. Alternatively, I can come to this list view, can click on this, and I can pop that in there. Okay, so it's a really easy way of moving things around. So when we look at the Kadence blocks and how many there are and how many you're actually going to use, I mean, the Lottie animations is something that I haven't used yet. It's something new. I don't think on a basic website, you won't really be using that. You'll be using advanced image. If you might want to put in a Google map, I don't think so. I did say I wanted to add in a spacer divider. Let me show you what that is. So I can click on that. That then adds it in there. Basically what it does is just adds in a line. Okay, I can change the width of the line. Sometimes it's nice to just have that kind of separator. I can also change what it looks like on a mobile, can change the color of that line if I want, etc. So it could be something that you used. Advanced button, if you want to, and you want to add in a countdown, you can with that. Then you've got rows and sections. So again, like your sections are kind of like your columns. This is something new Kadence have brought out. And there are different ways to use that. I'm not going to dive into that now though. If you want a little icon, could be something you use. Advanced text, these are tabs, info box. So there aren't that many. There's also, if you click on show more. Okay, show more is if you type in some text and you want a little button that says show more, then there'll be more content underneath that. So you can kind of go through these and get familiar with what are the block settings. I must say one of the longest ones with the most customizing sections is the form. So let me click on form. You can see here there's so many different tabs for you to go through. So you can use the form for, let's say, for example, your contact page, or you can use the form to capture people's email addresses and link it to your email marketing software like MailChimp. And I have done a video before on that and shown a very basic example of how to create kind of a landing page which captures email addresses. Okay, so that is using the Kadence blocks in a nutshell. If you have any questions, then please let me know.